I can still remember exactly where I was standing when I heard that Barack Obama had been elected president. And I just remember how overjoyed I was that we had did it. We had elected the first black president. And I just remember that feeling that I had of like, wow, this is historic. And now, we've finally done something that we never thought we would ever do in our lifetime. We accomplished that. And looking back at it now in hindsight, I realized just how much hatred it brought out of people to be led by a smart, articulate black man. That's just something that a whole lot of people couldn't get used to. And one thing that they did back then a whole lot was warn us about Obama and what he was going to do. And to hear them tell that Obama was going to put us all in concentration camps, they would say. They would say that Obama was going to deport us all. They would say that Obama was going to lock up people that disagree with him. They would say that Obama was going to terminate the Constitution. They would say that Obama was going to stick around and he was going to stay in power and make himself king and make himself ruler. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, that's all the things they warned us. They said if we got health care, that was socialism, that would lead us to communism, and that would make him the dictator if we got universal health care in this country. So Barack Obama was always the boogeyman that they went to say, hey, if you allow these things to happen, if you allow this black president to do these things, then we're going to have a dictator and we're going to have someone that has no regard for the Constitution. And then they went and elected Donald Trump, and he did all of those things and is still doing all those things, and they're sitting back cheering it on. It's pretty crazy to watch, and it's pretty hard to watch, but unfortunately that's where we're at in this country. And Barack Obama himself sees it. He understands that had he done any of the things or even hinted at the things that Donald Trump is doing, that MAGA and Fox News and every Republican in this country would be ready to burn it to the ground. I want to play this clip of Obama, and then we're going to talk more about this. Take a look.
Imagine if I had pulled Fox News' credentials from the White House press corps. You're laughing, but no, this is what's happening. Imagine if I'd said to law firms that were representing parties that were upset with policies my administration had initiated, that you will not be allowed into government buildings. We will punish you economically for dissenting from the Affordable Care Act or the Iran deal. We will ferret out students who protest against my policies. It's unimaginable that the same parties that are silent now would have tolerated behavior like that from me or a whole bunch of my predecessors. So, and I say this not on a partisan basis. This has to do with something more precious, which is, who are we as a country and what values do we stand for?
He's absolutely right. And the thing is, all of the things that they accused him of doing back then, they're still accusing him of doing, and he ain't even been the president for 8 years. But they still will tell you that it's Obama that's behind the scenes. He's this mastermind behind the scenes that's pulling all the strings, and he's going to make all this stuff happen. And meanwhile, they roll right with Donald Trump whenever he says any of it. I saw these guys on social media talking about how that Obama wanted a third term, and there was a clip of Obama saying he wanted a third term, and when I went and found it, he basically said, yeah, I like to serve a third term, but, I enjoy my job, but hey, there's term limits, and we have a constitution, and we respect that, and we understand that. We might like to stick around a little bit longer. We all would like to, but we can't because we respect the Constitution. But just him saying, yeah, I would like to have a third term. I think, just him saying that, oh, do you hear what he's saying? And they will sit there and build off that one line. They'll ignore everything he said after that about the Constitution and about how he respects it. They'll ignore every bit of that, and they'll just go to the part where he said, yeah, I'd like to, and they'll make a huge conspiracy theory out of that whole thing, and meanwhile, Donald Trump can sit down and give the battle plans away as to how he's going to do it. His people can sit and say, oh, yeah, we're working on that. We'll get around it. We'll define what term limits are. We'll decide who gets to have them and who don't. And Trump is like, yeah, one theory is, yeah, J.D. Vance could run, and then I'd run as vice president, and then J.D. just step down and hand it to me. We'll find a way around it. He lays it out and maps it out. And everybody says, I don't think Trump would do that. And I get that every day to this day. Every time I mention Trump being a dictator or terminating the Constitution, someone will message me. And sometimes it's people that I grew up with, friends of mine that, will say, I think you're getting all worked up over this, Brando. I don't think he would ever do that. I don't think he's the type of guy that would do that. And I'm like, he's out there the entire time bragging about doing it. He's been saying he was going to do it. Who missed the meeting? Did I listen to him more than you? Because he's saying it. And he's doing it right in front of our faces. So this idea that, well, I don't think he would do it, he is doing it. And he said he was going to do it. So why is anyone shocked? Why is it that they will sit there and they can't wrap their mind around the idea that Trump might do something underhanded? A guy who, as a businessman, was constantly in court. This guy bankrupted a casino. But they make it out like he's the smartest businessman in the room. He's not. He never was. He's just someone who has walked all over top of everybody. Conned whoever he had to con, didn't pay whoever he didn't want to pay, just left him in the dust, left him standing, done his thing, walked all over top of everybody. And that's the guy that they want to hand the keys to the kingdom to, and then let him turn around and hand it off to Elon Musk and let him take a blowtorch to everything. And as they're losing everything, they're still sitting there going, well, I don't really think Trump would ever do this to us. This must have been something Biden done that caused this. This must be something Obama was cooking up behind the scenes. And I can sit here on the channel and I can make up the most outlandish story about Barack Obama. I could just pull one out of my ass. And I could just say that Barack Obama put on a chicken suit and danced on a table at a Waffle House. And if I told that story as a MAGA influencer and put it out there into the world and I had no proof, no evidence, no videos, nothing. But if I could just find one person, in Toledo, Ohio, that would be like, yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen him get burned that chicken suit and dance around. That's all it would take. And then when people said, where's the video? Well, they took it from me. These guys come and knocked on my door and took my phone from me, and they didn't let me show Obama in a chicken suit, but this dude over here seen it. And they would sit there, and they would go with this, and they would believe it. They would spread it around like it was gospel. But Donald Trump can come out and just take his foot and kick him right in the face, and they'll go, I don't think he's the kind of guy to do that. I don't really think he's the kind of guy that would hit me. I just can't imagine he would kick my ass. That's what we're dealing with. But we're going to keep dealing with it, and we are going to come out the other side of this one. I really believe we will. I know a lot of people feel hopeless right now, but what I would say to people is this country has been down before. This country has been in dark times like this before, and we will overcome, and we will make it out the other side. But when we do, the one thing that I would like to drive home, the one point that I want to drive home more than ever, is that if we, and when we, I won't say if, when we win again, we'll win again. When we do, we have to realize that that's not it. The match ain't over. You might win the championship, but you got to defend the title now. The title is always on the line, and you're always going to have to be defending it. We've been having to defend it from day one, and we always will be, because there will always be these radical groups of people. There will always be these radicals out there that are going to be trying to come and take what we've worked so hard to make sure everyone had. And what everyone before us, our grandfathers and their grandfathers before them, everything this country was ever built upon, they're trying to tear it down. And they'll keep trying to tear it down. So we can't ever flex and say we won. What I would recommend to people to do is just think back on all the times that Donald Trump has made you sick in the pit of your stomach. And when you look out at the Democratic candidate, whoever that is, and you see them, again, always go and listen to them and add up the amount of issues you agree with that person on, and then add up the ones you agree with Trump, Musk, or Vance on. And I guarantee you, you're always going to agree with that Democrat more. So there might be one thing he did you didn't like. There might be one thing he said you didn't like. There might be one stance that they made that you're not going to like. That's natural, because if you follow after someone and you agree with 100% of the things they say and they can never do no wrong, then you're a Trump supporter. So understand that we're going to be in this fight for the rest of our lives, and our kids are going to be. And help them to understand it, that this ain't something you're ever going to be able to lay down and walk away from. It's something, unfortunately, that we're going to have to fight for, because there's always going to be that group of radicals breathing down our necks. They're never going to go away. They're just going to keep raising people to be the same way, keep passing it down to their kids. So we're on the right side of history, and we have to take the good things that we believe in and the principles we believe in, and we have to pass them down to our kids and hope that they can stand the test of time and fight this, because we're going to be in it for the long haul, folks. It's not going to ever end.